Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, it's Donate a Day's Wages to Charity Day. Did you participate?
Tony Kornheiser, yes, I did, but they were your wages.
Oh, no. Yeah, they were frozen, and they are out of the way of your reach.
You know that I went to the internet, and you make way more than I do. That's what they say on the internet.
Who's
they
that?
list me, they list
Who's
you.
they
list you in that category of guys who make more than athletes.
Who's they?
You know, the internet.
They.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, James Harden comes through. Tom Brady lawyers up, and Mike and I perform a little role play. But we begin today with LeBron James finally having the big game against Chicago. James made 14 of 24 shots, finishing with 38 points and 12 rebounds, adding 6 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks, 2 of which were highlight quality. Meanwhile, Derrick Rose missed his last 11 shots but kept firing. Wilbon, shouldn't the allegedly talented Bulls be better than this?
Well, you haven't been listening all year. I've told you this when you tell me what the favorites they should be. And I told you they're not great at anything anymore. They're not great defensively anymore. They're not a great rebounding team anymore. Their offense is out of the 20th century, and we are well into the 21st century. Now, I'm not going to get into blame. That's for sort of Bulls' corner. But LeBron James, I told you, my over-under for him last night was 40. He came close, Tony. And also, the referees, Joey Crawford, one of the best referees in NBA history, they blew it. They kicked Taj Gibson out of a game with Matthew Dellavedova, who the league has now assessed a day later, a technical foul. Woo! Matthew Dellavedova, the instigator, who had Taj Gibson in a leg lock, was allowed to shoot and make a technical foul, and the Bulls should have been shooting a technical foul. This is garbage in a 2-point game because right there with a free throw taken and added, it's even. Okay? So they got hosed last night. So 2 things are true. The Bulls should be better, and last night's outcome could have been different.
My takeaway is obviously different because I don't live and die with the Chicago Bulls as you do and always have.
Did you see the film of Matt Dellavedova putting the guy in a leg lock?
I saw that. But my takeaway is that 2 things stand out to me. One is that Kyrie Irving must have had a medical miracle.
He was still limping.
But he was good. He was good. He scored more points last night than he probably had in 2 or 3 games previous to that. And the biggest takeaway is LeBron James is the best player in basketball. And you know, I don't like the cliche where somebody says this was a game where he imposed his will and he won the game. But
however,
it actually...
What did it remind you of?
It was the thing, the blocks, the hustle, the blocks. You're going to say Jordan, I assume. It's a Jordan type of game.
The Bulls were on the other side.
Yeah.
The Bulls in Cleveland have reversed roles, Tony. Much of Cleveland's heartache, the whole city with their basketball franchise, came from Jordan doing that to them. And now LeBron's the best player.
Can I ask you a question about Rose, though?
Better.
You know, you've been telling me for a long time that it's okay if Rose misses shots as long as he's a high-volume shooter.
He has to be. Tony,
he was 0 for 11.
You want him to make them. He was 0 for 11, and the game was even. It's an even game.
They lost the game,
Tony,
and he was a high-volume
by the way, when they needed a rebound in the last 16 seconds. They couldn't get one. Taj Gibson, their best rebounder available to them, is in the locker room. But you didn't see that. Because you picked Cleveland, so you didn't see that.
LeBron James won the game.
LeBron James wins a lot of games.
He's the best player.
Who doesn't he beat?
He's the best player.
Besides San Antonio sometimes.
He's the best player.
5 games into the second round of the playoffs. The Houston Rockets decided they would actually play basketball last night. James Harden, despite the flu, recorded a triple-double. Dwight Howard, your boy, had 20 and 15.
My boy.
And the Rockets popped the Clippers by 20 to avoid being eliminated in Houston. The Rockets played for one night like the desperate team they were. But, Tony, are you willing to say there's a real chance the Rockets can win this series?
Well, of course they have a chance. They finished second in the Western Conference this year. Can I just say about this series that it's a total dog of a series, that only one game has been decided by fewer than 16 points, and that's why nobody's paying attention to it. But to get to look, they've got the best player on the court. James Harden's the best player on the court. This year, he's the second best player in the league.
If you asked me, we're in the playground.
You're going to say Chris Paul?
I'm taking Chris Paul.
Okay, well, I'm
James Harden hogs the ball far too much despite the passing.
They also have potentially the most impactful player on the court, and that's Dwight Howard. I don't know why you rip him as often as you do.
Because they're dogs in the play. Tony, you're not watching these games. You just said nobody pays attention.
I'm way asleep on this game.
I'm paying attention. It's like when I say nobody's paying attention to Kentucky Derby, and you give me numbers. Some of us are watching the playoffs. And the Houston Rockets have played like dogs. I don't often say that because that's damning. I mean, I don't often want to do that, Tony. But when you got Harden and you got Dwight Howard and they lose at home the way they lost at home, one game Chris Paul, talk about one leg and Kyrie Irving, one game Chris Paul wasn't even out there.
So you give him no chance?
No.
Okay.
I give him nothing.
Even though,
because I don't think they're going to bring the same energy to Los Angeles tomorrow.
In the history of the Clippers, They've never been to a conference final. They've never obviously been to the NBA final. They've won 4 playoff series in Los Angeles in 31 years, which is pathetic. And by the way, although I don't watch this series, I went home from a screening of Pitch Perfect 2 last night. I know you liked the first movie. Yeah. I went home to watch the Cavaliers. So don't say I don't care about this.
I said this series.
No, I don't care about this one. I don't. John Wall is listed as questionable for tonight's Wizards game against the Hawks in Atlanta. Wall has been testing his broken left hand, and it is said he will be a game-time decision. The swelling has gone down, but there is still some pain. Wall practiced today, but behind a curtain, perhaps the curtain of distraction. Well, the series is tied at 2. Should the Wizards play John Wall tonight?
They should do whatever John Wall wants to do. If John Wall wants to get out there and play, he's their best player. I don't think the Wizards can win this series without their best player, and they're going to need him. But it's risky. He's also your franchise player. I mean, let's talk about where a GM and a coach need to be different guys. So the GM's got to think of the overall health of the team, and the coach has to want to win tonight. And this is Game 5. You're on the road. So, man, I feel a certain concern about John Wall. How he falls. He plays hard. He's reckless. He goes to the floor. How can he brace himself?
Okay. I disagree with you that they should play John Wall if he wants to play. The first thing they have to do is go to their medical people, and they have to ask this question. If he plays and gets hurt again, can that do permanent damage to that hand of our franchise player?
The medical people weigh in first.
Well, that's the most important thing.
If they clear him.
Okay, if he goes out there, and I'm the other team, because this is the way sports is played, kid. Bang! I'm going right at the hand. I'm going to knock him into people, and I'm going to try and hurt him because it's our best chance to win.
Yeah.
So I would be reluctant to play him, even if he wanted to.
But you might.
I certainly wouldn't start him. I might throw him in at some point in the game, but I would do it with great trepidation because I'm not down in the series yet. And I believe in Game 6 in Washington, the Wizards can win that game, especially if he plays even a little.
Is it going to be any different?
It's 2 days. It's 2 days down the road.
Tony,
yes.
This is what you call a dilemma. This is hard. But here's one thing we agree on. You start with the medical people.
Yeah.
You do. You say,
he's the most important player on the team.
I need as candid an assessment as you can provide me here, because if it's easy to do long-term damage, the answer is no.
You're not impressed with the Atlanta Hawks. You think they can be beaten even without John Wall, don't you?
No. I think if John Wall had been healthy this whole series, I think the Wizards are going to win, like they did in Game 1. But without him?
Can I just make sure, you did see Pitch Perfect, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
This one lacked nuance. Didn't like it.
Okay, Mr. Siskel.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sure we're in the window where we are required by law to have a Tom Brady story.
Yes, we are.
So here we go. Jonathan Vilma, you remember him, right?
I do.
The former Saints linebacker, must be a free agent now, who won an appeal challenge after Bountygate and at one point filed a defamation suit against the NFL, tells our Ed Werder that Brady should fight the emotion of defending himself in public, lawyer up, and begin to devise a game plan to beat the league in court. Seems like that's exactly what Brady's already doing, having hired Jeffrey Kessler to be part of his legal team. Tony, is Vilma's advice the right counsel?
To me, there's one statistic here that is important, and that is the fact that Jonathan Vilma beat the NFL. He's 1-0 against the NFL. So if I'm Tom Brady, I pay attention to that, and I listen to what Jonathan Vilma said. Does Tom Brady strike you as a guy that needs publicity, that needs to go out and talk? How's his life other than – no, he doesn't.
So, a contract with WEEI in Boston.
The important thing for him to do is win this. And when people say things like, Tom Brady must confess to me, Tom Brady must come clean to the American public, that is ridiculous on every level. Tom Brady needs to win this thing. And if Jonathan Vilma provides the game plan, he ought to follow it.
He didn't need to win. He didn't need that either. Because Tom Brady can waltz in after 4 missed games that I don't believe is going to be 4.
It's an unjust
He can come out, he can beat the Colts, and he'd be a god where he lives, okay, he is.
Which he already is.
Okay, double god.
Yeah.
Double god status.
Okay.
So Tom Brady doesn't need anything. Now, I told you the night that he was with Jim Gray, I thought the smug defiance was basically suggesting, I'm coming after you people. When I get out of here and I don't have to smile anymore before you people in Salem, I'm coming after all of you. And that's what this hiring of this legal dream team is about.
This is an interesting position to take because the one great piece of jeopardy, it seems to me, for Tom Brady is that Roger Goodell could say, I'm the one who's going to judge this case. And then you would think he would lose. But, and here's the great part.
That's where he can slurp up to his boy
exactly
Bob
right.
Kraft.
And he can hold his jaw.
Wait.
He takes it down to one game. Takes it down to one game.
You sound like me.
Well,
when I say the NFL is not to be trusted at all in these matters, just sinister when it comes to this. Wait a minute, Nick. And you always say, you hate the NFL.
He can take it down to one game, and he can make nice the crowd.
And it's all a conspiracy.
It could be. You know what it could be a conspiracy like? The fixing of the draft lottery, so that the Knicks and the Lakers win this year.
Is there a living, breathing NFL commissioner that can come out and talk about this?
We haven't heard from him in a while.
No.
We'd invite him on this set like we had Adam Silver. Giancarlo Stanton hit one to the moon last night. He became the 4th player ever to hit a ball out of Dodger Stadium, joining Willie Stargell, Mike Piazza, and Mark McGwire, big hitters. Stanton's shot was measured at 467 feet, and that's a lot of feet, but it's only Stanton's 6th longest homer. Well, but Miami lost this game 11-1, so how much does this home run even matter?
It matters a hell of a lot more than the result of that game, which doesn't matter in the least. There are 2 things from my childhood that struck me whenever I saw them, either in person or on television. And those 2 things were massive home runs hit by godlike figures and knockouts. Like when Ali would knock somebody out when I was a kid, or Sonny Liston or Floyd Patterson, somebody, not Ray Robinson. And home runs. I saw when I was 5 years old, Mickey Mantle hit the roof at Comiskey. Now, I don't think anybody ever hit it out there. Ruth wanted to, he never did it. My father picked me up, put me on his shoulders, and I saw Mantle from the left side rounding the bases. I was 5. It's in my head forever. These things are important home runs still, even with steroids and all.
Things last. I remember hearing about Mickey Mantle at Griffith Stadium, where the old Washington Senators used to play, hitting one out there. And I remember hearing about Reggie Jackson and watching film of it.
You watched Mays as a kid.
Mays didn't hit him like this.
They weren't massive?
No, not like Mantle and Jackson. And Jackson at Tiger Stadium hit
the All-Star game, 71.
When I was working at the New York Times, I did a big feature on a guy who hit it further than anybody I ever personally saw, and somebody you will know, Dave Kingman.
Oh, yeah.
And Dave Kingman used to take batting practice with the Mets at Shea. And other players stopped what they were doing. They didn't even like Kingman.
That's right.
But they stopped what they were doing to watch this guy who could hit it out. He could hit it out. And in New York, you land in a parking lot, you're on the asphalt, maybe it goes 600 feet. And it is, you're right. I mean, the chicks dig the long ball.
The Stanton
this is what you remember.
He appears to be, I was listening to Kirkjian and others last night, the biggest, strongest guy out there who can hit him as far as anybody.
And he's come back even though he got hit. He
him.
hangs in there. He's got the mask on the side. He comes back. Let's take a break. Coming up, we will ask your boy Jimmy Garoppolo what we should expect from him while Tom Brady is suspended.
And would Coach Cal really leave Kentucky Big Blue for the chance to coach Anthony Davis again? We'll ask him, or a cardboard version of him anyway.
It's a fun game to play because we can say whatever we want.
That's right.
It's not really us.
That's right.
It's somebody else.
Geico presents Strange Saving Stories. Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We are feeling frisky, so let's do some role play. We'll get started, Mike. This time I will give.
Okay.
And you will receive.
All right. Who am I?
You're Alex Ovechkin.
Good.
Did you make a mistake in guaranteeing a win in tonight's Game 7?
Well, Tony, upon further review, as they say.
Yeah.
I never really heard of this Messier guy. He was an old man.
Really?
When I was
Mark Messier, an old man?
Yeah, I didn't know. And I didn't know the history of the Garden.
Really?
I wasn't really familiar with that. And this guy, Lundqvist, apparently he's the goaltender that I never
pretty
score
good.
against.
He's pretty good.
He gives up less than 1 goal per game in Game 7s, and the Rangers win all of them. And then
that's okay. You're averaging less than 1 goal a game in Game 7.
Somebody told me that when the Capitals, my franchise, we've blown 3-1 leads 4 times.
Yeah.
We're over
Yeah.
in Game 7. So maybe, and the other thing,
What?
they expect me to score, apparently.
They do, because you're the leading goal scorer in the league.
Well, why would I guarantee
You're the number 1 guy.
if I'd known all that? I'm not paying attention.
You know that Wilbon says that you should be traded. You're aware of that, aren't you?
They should send me to L.A.
Something
some
like
glamorous
that.
place where I got
Are you afraid of this game? Are you going to win it? Are you going to win it, Alex?
I guarantee we're going to win it.
Here we go.
They're going to win? It's your team. Huh?
Who am I?
Silence is so gutless.
Who am I?
You're the new starting quarterback for the Patriots, Jimmy Garoppolo. What should we expect from you?
5 Super Bowls is what you should expect from me, because that's how many I'm going to win. Super Bowls.
Oh, bowls.
When I leave here, I'm going to take all of Tom Brady's records with me. I may even take his wife, Giselle. Call me up. You understand what I'm saying? Who's responsible for all of this? This guy. What do you think I've been doing? I went to the league. I put Brady in the soup. I told the league that he was cheating. He was deflating all the balls. I went to Ted Wells. I told Ted Wells about the deflator. I put myself in this position. I'm going to win the first 4 games of the season.
You won't even be in the first 4 games.
I'm in all 4, and Belichick is going to stick with me. And you know why? Because I got bad stuff on him, too. What do you think I do when I'm sitting on a bench? I take notes. I name names. I'm the star of the New England Patriots. Me, Janine Garofalo. I'm the star.
I got a question.
What do you got for that?
I got a question.
What?
What was your record in college?
I don't know, 15-0?
Your junior year. Let's pick that year.
I don't know. What was he? Do you know? Is he any
At
good?
some point, he was like 5-20 at some point. Who am I?
You're John Calipari. Would you leave Kentucky to coach Anthony Davis in New Orleans?
I got the greatest job in college basketball right here in Big Blue Nation.
Really?
Okay? I get every recruit I want. I've won 2 national championships. I've been to other Final Fours.
Didn't win this year.
Tony, get me the hell out of here.
I think you'd want to go.
Get me out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you, Tony, let me tell you something. Are we just you and me right now?
Right.
Nobody else can hear us?
Nobody can hear.
Camera?
Nobody, John.
Are you kidding me? I can go coach Anthony Davis and Tyreek Evans. How many championships, national championships can I win? How many do I need? It's just college. Nobody cares. It's just college basketball.
Would you rather
They
live in
don't
New
care
Orleans?
Here in the SEC.
Would you rather live in New Orleans than Lexington?
Ooh, imagine that. Imagine the recruits I could get down here. Little trip, huh? During Mardi Gras, you know what I'm saying?
Is he going to take it, or what about if Tom Thibodeau wants that job, John? What about if he gets it?
That's a New Orleans kind of name, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
If I want that job, I'll take that job. You taking the job?
I think you will.
I think you might. Tony, you are American Pharaoh.
Yes, I am.
You won the Kentucky Derby.
Yes, I did.
How are you going to do in the 4-horse field in the Preakness?
Honestly, I am conflicted about this. I'm going to tell you why. My jockey, Victor Espinoza, he whipped me 32 times during the Derby. You know how I know it's 32? Because I counted with my hoofs. It was 32 times, and it really hurt. So I was winning, and he was hitting me with the whip 32 times. So I'm sort of conflicted as to what to do. I thought maybe I would go slowly in the Preakness, but then I'm
You
afraid.
could go slowly. How many horses?
Oh,
how many horses in the Preakness?
Everybody's afraid of me. Only 7 have entered. I'm going to beat all of them. I don't have any worries about that, but they call the segment role play. I got a role play. I'd like to be the jockey and let the little guy be the horse and see how it feels to be whipped the way he whipped me. You know what I'm looking forward to?
What?
I'm looking forward to the end of the Triple Crown. Ask me why.
Why?
Because then I can do what I'm supposed to do.
Don't go there.
Have sex with the Phillies.
Don't go there.
And I don't mean Chase Utley, and I don't mean Ryan Howard. That's what I'm going to do.
You know about the Belmont, what will they have? A match race? 2 horses by then?
Role play
You'll
is
finally
over.
get a Triple Crown.
They're going to have 8 to 10 horses. They're going to lay in the weeds for this horse if it wins, too. Was it good for you? Let's take one last break, but still to come, will the Warriors' strategy of ignoring Tony Allen work again tonight?
And Helio Castroneves walks away from a crazy wreck.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you see a car flip?
Yeah.
It's a good life being American Pharaoh, don't you think? It's a good life.
He's not winning.
He won.
He's not winning.
He's winning.
ESPN Radio, bringing you directly to the biggest events in sports.
Center field, well hit, Hunter back, out of here!
From opening day of baseball,
Throw to the plate, safe at the plate!
right through the World Series.
For the 3rd time in 5 seasons, the San Francisco Giants are the champions of the baseball world.
Whether it's LeBron, Chris Paul, or Kevin Durant, when the NBA tips off, ESPN Radio is right there when a champion is crowned.
Have a new world champion. The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
And when the magic of bowl season arrives, ESPN Radio is your home for the new college football playoff.
The college football playoff first national champion, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
The biggest events in sports can be found right here on ESPN Radio.
Happy time, people. Happy 26th birthday, P.K. Subban. The star of the Montreal Canadiens is out of the playoffs as Tampa Bay beat Montreal last night to end that series. Montreal was the last Canadian team remaining in the playoffs. And so for the 22nd straight year, no Canadian team will win the championship of the sport that country invented. Move on, that stinks.
Tony, the tables have really turned from, say, the 1950s, mid-50s through the 60s, when the Canadians and Maple Leafs won 13 out of 14 cups. Not that way anymore.
Not so happy anniversary, Bryce Harper. On this day 2 years ago, you ran full speed into the right field wall at Dodger Stadium as if you had no idea it was there. In his first 3 years, Harper missed an average of 43 games a season. But this year, Harper's played in every game, and his homer last night gave him the NL lead in both home runs and RBI. He's having a breakout year.
MVP? You get him as early candidate for MVP?
Absolutely. If they have to win, though.
Yanks.
Well, they have to win.
They've been promised they're going to win.
Happy trails to Elio Castroneves' car. Watch this frightening video of Castroneves' car during a practice session for the upcoming Indianapolis 500. The car becomes airborne, and when it lands, Castroneves is upside down. Thankfully and miraculously, Castroneves walked away utterly unhurt, which happens more often than not.
You see this interesting thing in the another viewer, where he takes his hands off the wheel, apparently so you don't break your wrist, and he pulls his arms back in. So you're preparing for this crash in ways that are horrifying.
I think you have to prepare.
You have to.
I mean, because you get in crashes all the time. 2 small errors. There are actually 8 horses in the Preakness. American Pharaoh drew the rail this afternoon.
Please.
And Jimmy Garoppolo's college record was 24-22. Wilbon apologized to him.
No.
What? Did you thought he was terrible?
He was. There was a terrible stretch in there.
Can I get you to watch the Preakness on Saturday?
Maybe.
Because
I've been invited to go to Baltimore to go to the Preakness, but I won't be here.
Can I go instead of you?
Frank invited me. No, he doesn't want you.
Ooh, big plug for you, Under Armour plug. Let's go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
NBA Christmas Day uniforms for next season are out. Do you like them?
No.
Why?
No, they kind of throwbacky.
Why?
I like the Portland one. No, come on.
Really?
The 2016 Madden cover will feature either Odell Beckham Jr. or your boy, the Gronk. Who would you choose for the cover?
For pure spectacular catch,
right.
Beckham's catch is the
picture
greatest
of the
thing.
catch is
But the Gronk, as a position player, is a beast. I think he represents football.
They could put a wildebeest on the cover.
He
Just
could.
call him.
Pau Gasol says he will play in Game 6. Is that too late for you?
Too late for them.
Yeah.
It's hard to see them winning the Game 7. Hard to see them winning Game 6. Jorge Posada says anyone who used PEDs should be kept out of the Hall of Fame, including his former teammates Clemens and Rodriguez. You surprised?
I am, because it also includes Andy Pettit, who pitched to him an awful lot and was in the core 4. And he just said see you on that. So that's courageous. Last one, Grizzlies and Warriors, Game 5 tonight. Who you got?
This just in, Mark Stein says Tony Allen not likely to play. If he can't play, that's a done deal.
We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
Memphis needs Tony Allen. I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. Check out the PTI podcast on iTunes.
I was stunned I didn't see you at the preview of Pitch Perfect 2.
Really? Oh.
Two of baseball's best go head-to-head in interleague action when the Tigers head to St. Louis to face the Cardinals. That one is gone. The pregame at 7 Eastern, first pitch at 8, Sunday on ESPN and ESPN Radio.